Your favorite widow here, wealth building rockstar, and I'm here to tell you how to buy real estate in different cities than the one you live in, and how more people should be doing it, especially if you live in expensive cities like LA and New York, and you're not a multi-millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire like most of us are. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll keep posting these weekly videos for you guys. So I live in LA, as we all know. It's so expensive. All the houses are millions of dollars, even for like shacks, rundown houses, ghetto houses, just not good. No AC. I. It's just not worth it to me. I do love LA. I love it here. I might eventually buy a house here. I don't know. But I'm from Georgia, luckily, and Atlanta is exploding. So I bought my house in Atlanta. I also have a lot of friends here who are either from LA or from other expensive cities, like they were born in New York or born in Hawaii or something like that. And like, I don't want to buy it in Hawaii or New York. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. You need to buy somewhere. I'm always like, if we live in California, buy in Arizona, buy in Vegas, Airbnb in Vegas, buy in Texas, like whatever. Like, I think people have this emotional attachment to things and money, and that's what messes people up. I bought my first house in Atlanta as a strictly investment property. I did not care about that house. It wasn't the house like, ooh, my dream house to live in one day, blah, blah, blah. And that's what let me do it. I have tenants in there right now, and I'm actually at a point where I kind of do want to move back to Atlanta and live in my house because it's actually so much bigger than my apartment here, and it's way less than my rent here. My mortgage is less, literally, than my rent in LA. But the first step into buying real estate outside of the city or state you live in is you need to have a great team. And building that team is hard. Finding people that you want to work with is hard because people are annoying and people are terrible, but people are also really great, and you got to give them the chance to show you that. So I went through two realtors. I have one that I actually really like. She was a good realtor, and I would suggest people to work with her. I just think the market in Atlanta was so crazy that I felt a little bit like she was trying to force houses on us just to hurry up and get the sale. And I was like, I'm a very much a finding a deal person, even with apartments in LA. I will not pay 2K for an apartment in a nice neighborhood when I can get like I pay like 19 or 18 now in my apartment, and I have amenities. So a nice neighborhood with no amenities is like, no, like I'm gonna find the deal anywhere. And that's how I felt. And I felt like she was trying to rush the process because we did have only 6 months to find a house and purchase a house because I started looking at the beginning of 2021 in January, and I needed to close by like June or July so we could start the process so it could be ready to move into by August 1st because that's when my tenants were ready to move. And I had tenants already before I started the process, which was nice. It was my sister and some of her friends, and they still live in the house now. So going through one realtor kind of sucked. I put an offer on the house and we did the inspection, and it had so many things wrong with it. And I was like, no, I don't want this house. And she's like, well, this is normal wear and tear, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't care. There's things I'm just not willing to pay for. And you need to have that going into it. You might be willing to fix and flip and have money to flip things and pay for repairs. And that was not me. I want the house most as ready as possible in my budget with the least repairs as possible. Like I didn't want to spend extra money because I'm already gonna be putting a lot of money, paying closing costs, paying taxes, all these things, having to offer 5K, 10K over asking because the market was just a seller's market. Like buyers, we weren't getting no love. But to me, that's kind of the perfect time to buy, even though it sucks. You're paying way more money than you would if you bought 5, 10 years ago. But my house went up already 100K in value in less than a year. That's how you know the market is finna go crazy. And that's how you know you're still kind of getting a deal, even though you're paying more. Like 20 people have asked me to buy my house since I bought it. And I'm just like, no, because it's going up literally minute by minute in value. So you need to find a realtor who gets you. So I wound up firing her. I don't like firing people. I'm just a nice person. And I got referred from a family member to a realtor who's a little older. He sent me the comps for that house before that the realtor was telling me I should buy, and he was saying it's way over budget compared to the other houses in that area. And one thing about my other realtor, she did not show me the comps at every house, which I did not like. I feel like I want to see the comps, even though I'm not a real estate person, or I wasn't at the time to not know how to read them. Now I know how to read them. But at the time I was like, I don't know what this is, but at least he was sending them to me so I could see, and we would go through it together. I was working full time while doing this, but luckily I was on some easier TV shows where I could FaceTime my realtor. So that's how we saw houses together. He would FaceTime me, or if I couldn't FaceTime, my sister or my dad or my mom went to go see the house with him. And they would tell me their honest opinion, which sometimes was a little biased. My dad would be a little biased, but thankfully for him, I do trust his opinion sometimes. But I do feel like sometimes he would be like, just wait and buy a house. Don't buy a house right now. Or, I didn't pay this much for my house. I'm like, well, one, you don't live in a city. He lives in like the middle of Georgia, like small town. Like, yeah, of course, you're not gonna pay much, and you're a veteran. You had zero down. Two, this is the point. This is the seller's market. This is an investment property. This is houses being expensive and it being this chaotic is meaning this is the perfect time to buy. He didn't understand that because he was buying his house just to live in. I'm buying my house as a rental property, so we would butt heads on that. But at the same time, he was good at telling me like, ooh, water damage, window sills need to be replaced. Don't buy this house. I'm like, you're right, Dad. Even though my other realtor, the girl, she would argue with my dad. They would argue, and it was getting actually out of control. And that's also why I just like got somebody else, like more chill, because my dad can be a lot. So we saw a bunch of houses. We put in offers on houses. You just gotta throw the offers out there in markets like this, and it's still kind of like this today. We were putting 5K over asking, 10K over asking. I couldn't afford to pay cash at that moment, but I could pay a good amount, so I would offer 5, 10K over. But I was getting bought out by cash offers. The rich people are getting richer. They're buying all the houses, and it's just insane. And I finally found a house, two houses that I liked. One was a townhouse in a neighborhood with a pool, but it was close to Six Flags Over Georgia, which I really liked. And it was the nicer house. And I found another house that was like, you can't even see the house until you put in an offer and you're under contract, which is scary because under contract you usually have 5 days to like a week to get an inspection and appraisal, put down your earnest money, and just say you want to buy the house. But you have to get an appraisal and an inspection to see if you want the house. Because a lot of the times these houses look good and you get an inspection, which are like $400 to $500. On each house, you put an offer that you like. You have to pay for this inspection. So that adds up. Just to find out there's water damage or there's rats or there's like, it's just like these houses look good and then you get an inspection and you're like, actually this is terrible, which was so annoying. But anyway, so the townhouse, we got to see it way before putting an offer and all these things. They actually let us negotiate what I want to pay for the house. I didn't have to pay over. I could pay a little bit under, actually. But the tenants in the house had been there for a long time, which are the tenants you want, but after you've bought your house, not when you're buying the house, because they had dogs. They were smokers. I had to redo the carpet, redo the walls. Like, it just smelled so bad. And they were just like animal and smoke that it just would have cost so much to redo it. Even though I still put an offer in the house and like put it on my earnest money, blah, blah, blah. And then I saw the other house. I was like, oh my God, like what is wrong with this house that I cannot see it without being in their contract? Like that gives me 5 days to decide between these two houses, and it just was stressing me out. But luckily, it was the better house. We did an inspection. My realtor saw it. Literally had like 2 things wrong with it. Like it was in really good shape. It was so huge on like half an acre of land in a good neighborhood. And I was just like, it was in College Park. It was like 8 minutes from the airport. And I was like, why won't they let you see it? I don't know. It was just weird. But anyway, I got under contract on that, got rid of the other one, and that was the house I wanted buying. I wound up putting 5K over asking. They listed for 255, but their appraisal it was worth 260. No, it was worth, they put it on the market for 250. It was worth 255, and I wound up I paid 260 because I offered 5K over appraisal. And there was some things wrong with it, and I asked for like 2-3K back for what's wrong with it. And they actually gave it to me, which is rare because it was a seller's market. They didn't have to do shit. They could have just been like, this is what it is, and you're gonna buy it. A lot of places were selling as is. And they were nice about it. And my sister and her friends are in there, and they're in there now, and it's a huge house. It's amazing. It's a 3,000 square foot, 4-bedroom, master bedroom. The closet in that house is the size of my apartment in LA, and it's making me passive income every month. It's gone up 100K in value, and it's a tax write-off and tax incentive. So it's triple homicide. I'm so thankful for it. It's not as stressful and as hard to buy a house in a city than you think it is. If you just have a great team like the realtor, and I think having my sister who wanted to, she was gonna be my first tenant, whatever house I got, she was gonna live in it. So having her see the house too, knowing like this is a nice house I could live in, helped so much. So have a nice team, have your family, have your friends, have a good realtor help you, and it's literally I saw the house, I bought the house, been making money off of it, only saw it once, might live in it one day, and that's that. For more content like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys.